Hello and welcome to our channel. This weekend before Thanksgiving, we're doing a little bit of prepping. The kids say my stuffing is the best in the whole world. I'll be making that for you. We're also doing a special cranberry sauce with fresh cranberries. Matthew and I are making stuffed dates with walnuts and rolled in sugar. And I have a little secret about how to dress up the belly of your turkey with beautiful herbs under the skin. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. Today I have my little buddy Matthew with me.
Oh.
He just did a lot of shopping for us and we're going to make a very special family traditional thing. Tell us all about it.
Well, one of the traditions I remember from Thanksgiving every year is the dates rolled in sugar. It's kind of like supposed to be maybe a dessert sweet to snack on during Thanksgiving, but boy, it went with about every meal for a couple days with us.
Well, the problem was that the ones that really loved us were Matthew and myself. The rest of the family ate them, but between Matt and I, we probably ate the whole darn thing. And we used to eat it before the meal because they were always sitting around. And this is what we do. Sometimes they have pits in it. If they do, you slit it open, you take the pit out. However, we don't have pits here. So
Perfect.
Matthew is going to show you what to do. There's a little towel
They might
there.
even have a pre-slit in them if they're already pitted. They probably already have a slit somewhere in them.
You know, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No.
So basically we shove some walnuts in there, close it up a bit, and give it a roll.
In what?
In sugar.
Oh, good old sugar.
I think it was pretty much about 1 to 1. It used to be, right? For every one that you made, you'd eat one.
We would. We sort of ate them as we were making them. But they're such a family tradition for us. And as a matter of fact, this comes from my mom and dad. My mother made these, and that's why I started it. So it goes back to the 40s.
All right, you hear that, kids? You need to keep these traditions going.
Now, normally, we would put half a walnut. It fits perfectly in here.
But since I bought the wrong walnuts. I bought crushed versus halved.
He's my shopper boy. But it still works, so you put a couple of them in at the same time. Now I'm gonna, as soon as you finish that one, I know Matt has to run off. He's a busy guy today, huh?
Never too busy for mama, right?
Oh boy, what a son. Everybody knows Matthew.
Keep them coming.
Okay.
I'm on a roll.
All
Here,
right,
I'll continue going over here.
I'm going to show them what if I don't see how they look. Aren't they great? They're so delicious and probably maybe 2 or 3 bites in each one. And it's a fun extra thing to put on the table. So try them. Kids love them. Adults love them.
You know, some people also roll them in coconut. Some of you might be saying, hey, try coconut. But when I bought these at the store, Mom, next to them were a pack of already rolled in coconut with I don't know if they had a nut.
Oh, I think I've seen those. Yeah. Make this, then I'll put them in the refrigerator and save them for Moose and I. And since we're staying alone on Thanksgiving Day, we'll sit and have our fire. Gonna put some mulled wine on the back of the stove. I know. Well, you only have 3 to go, Matt. You're doing a good job here.
Nice. And these are a crowd pleaser.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you that go to parties or you see these over the years and you just say, oh, what is that? I'm not trying that. Next time, give it a try.
Good. Did you get our turkeys, by the way?
I did not get your frozen turkey yet, but I have to go home and make room in my freezer first.
I know.
I'm going to hold Mama's turkey just in case it gets difficult next week trying to find a turkey.
It might.
But I did get the gravy and the pan and the foil and everything else.
Oh, and I have everything for my stuffing. After Matt leaves, I'm going to cook the stuffing for you. And we're also going to do my diabetic cranberries. I have fresh cranberries, and we're going to give it a little pucker power.
I'll say between dates and our Thanksgiving hike, Mom, some of the best memories. You know, we just were talking out there with Colleen. my sister and her family, we're going to actually take our hike this year, even with
Oh,
COVID. We're going to have
good.
masks, we're going to be distanced, and we're going to take a hike right down.
Oh, I'm so
yeah.
happy. Good.
And maybe once we throw it out there, a bunch of the other cousins and family
Yeah,
might.
call Margie and Mike. I
We'll
know
be
Mike
safe.
would love it, and,
We'll make
and
sure.
Bridget.
Yep.
Good.
Could be
Maybe
fun.
even Molly. Jenny, they live in right here.
Anyone with a mask is welcome.
Sure. And some dogs. They always love the dogs. Well,
that
thank
was
you.
it.
I love you, Matthew. That's it. And Matt's going to take the other box home. And here is the beautiful dates stuffed with walnuts, rolled in sugar.
Nice.
We start by cooking the Farmer John's breakfast sausage. I think there's 14 of them in a package. Right now I'm sort of half steaming them. They cook for about 7 to 12 minutes, and then I will brown them and have those ready to go in. So I'll show you the package. Farmer John's original breakfast sausage, premium pork, and that's one of the ingredients. I have everything laid out here for my killer stuffing, Nanny's best stuffing in the whole world, as my children will tell you. And we start with cutting up the celery and onions. I'll probably use another onion and maybe some more celery. I'm going to make it in my big soup pot, and we'll be putting probably 2 bricks of butter in. Apples go in, chopped up and peeled. Of course, I have my chicken broth, my 1 or 2, depending. I'm going to make a lot. I could use 2 or 3 boxes of the stuffing mix, mainly because Colleen is having her kitchen redone, and they won't be able to use their kitchen. So I'm going to make some extra stuffing for her. The kids all love my stuffing. Star of my stuffing is this beautiful bowl of water chestnuts whole. I might use 2 cups of these. It's not a full cup. 2 cans, and you can buy them in the market in cans, and they are the ingredient. These whole water chestnuts packed in water, and these water chestnuts, I think, give the stuffing the best crunch in the world. They don't get soggy, they stay crunchy. The apples stay a bit crunchy too, but the water chestnuts really give the stuffing a nice crunch. Now I'm almost finishing browning them, then I'll chop them up into tiny pieces. And then I will start melting that, and then I will start putting in the chopped up onion and celery. I've started prepping my vegetables, which is basically just chopping the celery and the onions, and then I'll throw them in the soup pot. I have a large soup pot. I'm not doing it in a baking dish, and I'll show you how I do it later. But right now I'm just trying to get the onions chopped up, the celery chopped up, and a funny thing that I have found with the apples, which I am going to show you, funny thing about the peeling. Have you ever been able to peel an apple round and around with a peeler and have it come off in one circular piece? That happened to me once in my whole life. We were living in Scotland, and the children were all in school, and Matthew was in a kind of a preschool, private preschool in Scotland. And one day they had sports day, and all the mommies went, some daddies that weren't working, and they had mothers doing all kinds of contests and competitions. And one of the competitions was for the moms only to line up. Each one had an apple and a peeler, and you had to peel while you were running to the finish line straight ahead, peel the apple, and if it came off in little pieces, you were out. But if you made it to the finish line with one whole peel and your apple was peeled, you won. I came in second, and a neighbor of mine, Catherine, a very competitive Scottish lady, she won, and she wasn't going to let me win it all. It was almost a tie. But do you know, I've never been able to do that since then. I always breaks halfway through. Kind of funny doing this a couple days beforehand. Usually I do all this Thanksgiving morning. I get up really early and I start doing all this, I will have my turkey too. Now, I won't be able to do anything with the turkey because I don't have it yet. But one thing I did want to tell you about, a really special thing that I do with my turkey, and maybe I can discuss it without showing you what I do, but it concerns the herbs that I'll go out and pick from my garden. The herbs that I traditionally use with the turkey, especially on Thanksgiving Day: sage, and I have some wonderful sage growing in the garden, rosemary, and what's the other one? Oh, thyme. So I use those 3 fresh herbs, and then my stuffing is already has the herbs in it, but I will add some extra herbs too. So let me put the pot on. I'll finish chopping and go out and get my herbs, and we'll continue from there. Smelling good already. Just braising all the celery and the onions. I like a lot. Probably 1.5 to 2 onions. I do like a lot of onions and celery in it. So I'm gonna finish peeling my apples, and then we'll be ready to add the stuffing itself as soon as the celery and the onions soften a little bit. I'm gonna give it a whirl and see if I can't get my peel to come off in one big long piece for the second time in my whole life. I'm starting here. Here we go. It'll be good if I turned it around the other way. Here we go. This is longer than I've ever done before. Am I still in one piece? I think I am. Almost doing it. I lost a piece, but I did pretty well. Look at that. That's a real feat, by the way. How many of you can do that? I think my other part fell on the floor. Ta-da! I did pretty well. I like to leave the apples kind of chunky because that way you get a nice taste of apple. If you cut them too small, they get lost in the stuffing. But I think I'm going to use 2 apples. When I get them in the pot and see how they go with all the other ingredients, I might throw in another apple. But I'm going to show you the consistency of my cut here. See, they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of chunky. You want to be able to get the taste of the apple. And by the way, I'm going to cut up the chestnuts now, half, maybe quarter. The same thing. You don't want to chop them up too tiny because then you won't get the crunch. I've also cut up the sausages in small pieces, and they're ready to go in too. So now I'll cut the rest of my apples in. You don't want to leave the water chestnut whole because it's a little too big. I might do another can. I think I will. I don't have to pre-cook the apples because those will cook when I bake the stuffing with the turkey on Thursday, by the way. And the water chestnuts, the same thing. They'll just cook when I cook the turkey, and I'll leave the stuffing in. I don't put it in a pan. I wrap it up in foil in about 3 or 4 bundles. One bundle I have to make without the sausage because Colleen is a vegetarian, so she doesn't get the sausage. And then the rest of the bundles we use one by one. Usually there's one left over when we do have the great big Thanksgiving with the family. And as you can see, I sort of make this by eye. I don't really measure. The same as I start putting the stuffing in, the amount of broth that I do put in, and I try and stick with the low sodium broth. This one happens to be chicken. But I try and put a box of the stuffing in, then a little of this, mix it in with everything. I do like it sort of halfway between moist and crunchy. I don't like my stuffing too dry. So it's a matter of eye and watching it, and a little bit of this, and then perhaps another box of this. That's the way I do it. Okay, as you can see, It's pretty dense. This will start to soak up quickly, as all of you probably know if you've ever made stuffing before. Now this is not cubed, it's crumbed. If it were cubed, it would probably be a little drier, but I can see right away it's soaking everything up. It's very, very dry. This is my broth. And I'm gonna eyeball it. Since I'm gonna put another box in, I think I'll put this whole one in right now. Okay, let's see how this is. Yep. See, this almost gets, now it's quite runny, so we definitely need the other box in here. I'm going to put in the sausages cut up. Stir those in. By the way, when I finished cooking the sausages, I did put the rest of the drippings. Going to put the apples in. Maybe you might be able to use more apples. Maybe one more apple. Okay, now it's very mushy. Very mushy right now. Don't want it that mushy. So obviously I want more too. So I'm going to put more, probably the whole box of the stuffing, the second box in. I've put in almost the whole rest of the box in of the second stuffing, and it is still moist. I've mixed it up very well, but it's still moist. You can see it's sticky, and I don't think I want it that moist, so I'm going to put the rest in and then see how that goes. Okay. In goes the water chestnuts. Might put the other one in. I'm a more girl rather than a less girl. Now I'm going to mix those. We're nearing the end of everything. I just went outside and got some herbs. Sage, rosemary, and thyme, which are the traditional spices for Thanksgiving dinner. And I have our stuffing all ready to go. And I think I hear somebody coming into the kitchen.
You know, the aroma in this house. You remember what Amarillo used to say? This would be a good show if you had smell-o-vision.
Yeah. Bam! Isn't that what he used to say?
Yeah.
I still have some of Amarillo's essence. It's very old, but I used it in some soups recently and it was wonderful.
Just turn on the smell-o-vision.
Wouldn't that be great, huh? Anyway, Moose, it's going to be a fun Thanksgiving with lots of good eats.
Can you make a stuffing sandwich? I'll eat that.
Now? Well, what we're going to do now is, know what I forgot to do? I forgot to take the sausages out of a little portion for Colleen. But I'm going to take her portion out, kind of pick the sausages out. She'll never know the difference, right? This looks wonderful. I did add one more apple, so that was 3 apples because I love the taste of the sweet green apple. Now, a water chestnut, so far as it goes for taste, is a big nothing. It has no sweet taste like the apple. In fact, I don't think it has a taste at all. If it does have a taste, it's not even that great. But when it's mixed in with the stuffing, it really gives that crunch, and that's why I've put in the water chestnuts. I did add a second can too. So our stuffing is chock full, and I'm going to show you. It's chock full of goodies. Now, it's not too moist. I didn't have to add a second box of chicken broth. I only added 1 box. Remember, I have 2 bricks of butter down in there, and you know all the other ingredients. Now what I will do, I will get out my foil. I'm going to put a few twigs of rosemary and sage and this on top of each package. I take the foil and I put a certain amount in each. I usually have maybe 3 or 4 different bundles, and I bundle them up tightly. The reason I don't put them in a pan like most people cook their sausage in the oven in a pan after they get it all mixed is because they have room. When I put a big 23, 24 pound turkey in my oven, I have no room to cook the stuffing at the same time. So what I do is I put the bundles, the foil bundles, kind of around the side of the turkey cooking, and it cooks at the same time. So those will probably cook maybe an hour or 2. Keep checking. It really, you don't want it to brown too much, maybe a little bit, but to me, it will stay moist. And then we still have packages for the week after Thanksgiving. Cook maybe an hour or 2. Keep checking. It really, you don't want it to brown too much, maybe a little bit, but to me, it will stay moist. And then we still have packages for the week after Thanksgiving for our sandwiches. And we love the turkey soup. We love, Bill loves, I don't like it as much as the sandwiches. And we put the cranberry sauce on and the stuffing and the turkey on nice sourdough bread. But we also like the hot gravy and turkey on toast with a little bit of stuffing. So I have my spices ready to go. I'm gonna put a little pepper. By the way, put some pepper and a little bit of salt in here. Not much salt, doesn't need much salt. But you can do all this when you get your bundles ready. Okay, let me get out the foil. I'm going to take a nice bundle. See how you can see all the apples and the water chestnuts. You can even see the sausages. I'm going to need my glasses to pick out the sausage for Colleen. So maybe I'll check in there and see how much is in there. Now I will put a little more than that because looks like I'm going to have a lot of sausage. That might be a lot for a bundle. Can you see that? I'll show you after it all gets up. Now I take corners. Oops. What I do is I put a couple of twigs of my rosemary in here, a couple of twigs of thyme, some sage, and I kind of mix it in so that it will cook all wrapped up in the foil, and the aroma of the extra, now the cubes of stuffing were seasoned, but I do like my own seasoning in here. So let's see if I have enough thyme. Take a twig of thyme here. Whoa, that looks like a lot. That's gonna be good. So now I have it all ready to go. Now I bundle it up, take all 4 corners, make sure that it's completely covered. Okay, and then I make a nice package, like a little bundle, tighten it up, make sure it's all closed up, and there you have it. This is my bundle, and I will make 4 or 5, however many it takes. So that's, I don't know if you were to weigh it, what would it be? I don't know, a pound or something maybe. But this way I can save some that's left over or use what I need on Thanksgiving Day. And I don't have to freeze it. It stays fresh pretty much the whole week long after Thanksgiving. And then on Thanksgiving morning, I will maybe freeze these until then because it's a while till Thursday. I did this today for you for the filming. Otherwise, I would have done it Thanksgiving morning. So here we go. I'm going to do some more, and I will pick out the sausage. I managed to get 6 bundles of Nanny's stuffing, all wrapped up tight, all with 3 different herbs put on top in there. And when they bake in the oven, the day that you cook your turkey, put them around the edges of the pan or on the side, and cook them at the normal, what you cook your turkeys at 325. And this will stay in for maybe an hour, maybe 2. Just check it. Depends on how nice and hot you want it. It won't really get too awfully crunchy unless you open up the package and let it get a little crunchier. It is a moist stuffing. It's not crummy. It's definitely moist, but it is so good, and you will love those apples, and you will love the water chestnuts for crunch. Now I do have one last tip to give you, only I can't demonstrate it because I won't be cooking my turkey until Thanksgiving Day. But this is a tip that I got years and years and years ago from Martha Stewart, my good friend Martha Stewart that I keep talking about. I wish I had a turkey here to demonstrate. However, you'll have to imagine that we have a great big turkey. Actually, this turned out to be as much stuffing as I would make for 30, 35 people. So you can freeze it and use it at any other time with a chicken or anything, really. Keep these in your freezer, but do cook them first. Now, imagine that we have a great big turkey here. Imagine that you've salted it, you've cleaned it out, you have it all ready to stuff. What you do after you put your oil on the top, you take your hand and you start at the large cavity of the rear end, and you start in to lift the skin with your hand very carefully. Be careful not to rip it, and it will come up very nicely. So now you have your hand in the whole top breast of the turkey under the skin. You take your rosemary and your thyme and your sage, 1 or 2 pieces at a time, and very carefully you put these under the skin, and you cover the whole breast, or as many as you want, with these herbs. Remember, it's sage, rosemary, and thyme. And then you close it up, and you can see, because it's going to be a little bit translucent at this point, it's not cooked, and you'll see all the beautiful herbs on top. Now then you proceed to stuff your turkey and then cover it, or you might do it in a bag. And then when the turkey is finished, you have this beautiful turkey with the breast showing herbs underneath the skin. And it's so beautiful. And it does help to make the turkey a lot more tasty too. So the next thing we'll be doing is the cranberry sauce. And I don't have an orange. Matthew forgot to get my orange, and Colleen doesn't have any on her tree right now. So we'll have to imagine, for pucker power, that there's a little orange peel in here. And maybe Thanksgiving Day, I will put my orange zest and some of the peel in. That was sort of a secret ingredient to my cranberry sauce, but Moo saved the last orange yesterday. I've just rinsed a whole package of fresh cranberries, and they're ocean spray. They come in a package in the produce department, and I put the whole can in the strainer, and I've rinsed them. In the pot, I have put 1 cup of water and 1 cup of Splenda. Now you may use a cup of sugar if you prefer, but being a diabetic, I use my Splenda. I bring the water and the sugar to a boil, which it was just a minute ago. And then you pour the cranberries in. So easy. Now these are fresh cranberries. And you will boil this on medium heat. And I'm going to turn it down because the little cranberries will pop as they begin to cook. So I'm going to turn it down to medium heat. And I think it's going to cook, I'll check the package, I think it says approximately 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to put a top on so they don't pop all over my stove. While the cranberries are cooking and popping slightly in the covered dish on the stove, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my cranberry sauce. It's not a jellied type of a cranberry sauce like you would buy in the can and it comes out in a big roll of jelly. It's more like the cranberries are cooked, but as the sugar congeals with the cranberries and as they cook, the sugar creates this really great syrup. So you've got whole cranberries that are cooked and a little bit deflated, and it's you spoon it out. Now Matthew is evidently coming up in a little while. Might be too late for the video, but he is getting the rest of the groceries. and the oranges. Now, what I would like to put in is some orange zest, and it gives it a real puckered type taste, and a little bit of the peels. And then you take it off the stove after 10 minutes and you let it cool in the pot with the top on. And it gets this wonderful saucy type of a fresh cranberry. And that's basically it. You can doll it up. You can make cranberry relish by chopping up maybe some tomatoes in there, a little bit of onion, and that's if you want to relish. But we prefer the fresh cranberries with the sauce, and I can eat all I want because I used my Splenda. So, the finished cranberry sauce, I've put a little bit of orange zest and mixed it in, and a little bit on top. Can't wait to taste it. Absolutely delicious and so easy with that secret ingredient for pucker power. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Moose and I will be enjoying our day alone. We hope to have a little bit of mulled wine. It's just basically red wine with some spices. You can make your own with cloves and orange peels and nutmeg and any other spices that might mix. Put them in a cheesecloth bag. Put them in the wine on the back of the cinnamon sticks. Put them on the back of the stove and let it just simmer and sip a nice hot cup. I'll show you a cup that we did get in Munich in a minute. Wait, see this cup? This was from, oh gosh, Colleen was 18 years old and we went to Munich, Germany over Christmas to pick her up from her 6 months studying in England. And this cup was from the marketplace in Munich, and they served the traditional mulled wine, which in Germany is called Glühwein, and it's hot and tasty. I'll pretend I'm in Munich. But anyway, try it. Order the spices from Amazon. It's just called mulled wine. And you can even get tea bags and make it easy on yourself if you just want 1 cup each night. Soak the tea bag, heat up the water, and that's the easy way. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you enjoyed our cooking video and our little cook with Matthew. And after Thanksgiving, we will be putting out another video. This time we're getting back to some stereotypes, breaking the myths of aging seniors, and we'll enjoy that, I think. So God bless us all on this wonderful Thanksgiving when we have so much to be thankful for. Those of you who are eating alone or with your partner, you're not alone. We're with you too. And those of you who are with family, be safe, enjoy your family. We love you all. God bless. Bye-bye.